Yeah, good morning, guys. Good morning and welcome back. So, any new joinees before I start today's session? So, Friday, right? So, we have, one, two, three, four, five, 6 members in classroom. Huh? What is that? Yeah, Sumir is one new joinee or new participant today. Sumir Sarat. Any other new joinees online? Abdul is also new joinee, right? Abdul, can you please speak out or can you please? Okay.
Yeah, hi, Pawan. Good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
Whether I don't know I will stay up to end or not, I'm
Sure,
connected in
not an
room,
issue,
but I
guys.
need to go to office also.
Okay,
Doesn't know I joined. Okay, that's why I intimated.
sure,
Thank you.
sure.
Mm.
And who is this Avinash? Someone joined with display name as Avinash. Please join with
Yeah,
pop-up.
Pawan, it's me, Punnami. I will change the name.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's get started. We have 6 in classroom and 12 in online. Yeah. So yesterday we discussed what are the reasons for doing performance testing for a newly developed application, right? And did I upload the recorded session? Did everyone received it, guys? I know I am uploading as unlisted video, right? So this is the playlist URL for this batch, right? Feb 2025 playlist URL. Yes. So we have 7 recorded sessions over there. Let me confirm, yesterday's session was uploaded, right? 27th session was uploaded yesterday. Okay. And all these recorded sessions are uploaded as unlisted till now, right? Once I start the tool, I will upload as private videos. Okay. So these links, can be you can share or or you can access without any like you don't require any permissions for that. Or these are open for anyone. If anyone having the link, you can watch those. Anyone can watch those who are having that link, right? Anyone can watch those recorded sessions.
So how
Okay.
can I access this link, Pawan?
I
Narendra
had
side. Yeah.
I had shared the playlist URL in the WhatsApp group. Are you in the batch? Are you in the batch WhatsApp group?
No,
No.
I think no.
So this is the WhatsApp group for every batch. So once you confirm you're joining by paying this, you will be added to this WhatsApp group.
Yeah, yeah.
I shared
So
the playlist URL over here. This is the playlist URL. If you click on that playlist URL, you'll get access to all the recorded sessions.
okay. After this
Pawan,
class, I will.
myself not in that group. In that WhatsApp group, may also not added.
Oh, okay. So actually, why I didn't add Punami is like you are looking for LoadRunner, right? So this will be for JMeter. We'll continue this WhatsApp group for JMeter, and I think I have another WhatsApp group for LoadRunner March 2025 batch. I think you are added there. Yes or no? You are
Okay.
not added to this one.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Let me add you to this
Okay.
March 2025 morning batch. This is for LoadRunner basically.
Okay.
So once we complete the performance testing fundamentals, I am planning to split this batch into two batches, one for LoadRunner, another one for JMeter. So as we discussed, right? So this performance testing fund, there will be 7 more sessions on performance testing fundamentals. Okay, approximately 6 to 7 or 5 to 7 more sessions. So we can see the count here: 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8. Right. So we'll have 7 to 8 more sessions on performance testing fundamentals. Excluding today's session, it will be 7. Okay, and once we complete these performance testing fundamentals, we'll continue these timings for JMeter. 10 to 11 a.m. will be for JMeter, and 9 to 10 we'll start another batch for LoadRunner from 9 to 10. Okay, so the trainer will be Sham for that batch. For LoadRunner, Sham will be the trainer, and I will continue JMeter. Clear, guys? That is the plan as of now. Okay, and we have separate WhatsApp group for each batch and separate playlist URL. Okay, for each batch. Clear, guys? So this is the WhatsApp group for JMeter, and this is the WhatsApp group for LoadRunner and Dynatrace. And this will be the WhatsApp group for JMeter, BlazeMeter, SAS, and all these tools, right? And Zoom meeting ID is available in the WhatsApp group description. So please check the WhatsApp group description. Timings, Zoom meeting ID is mentioned in the WhatsApp group description. Okay. Got it. And yeah, and one more thing, we are planning to start, interview preparation sessions for our students only. Those are, free trainings for our students. Okay. So because, we are observing that, some students are failing, to answer interview questions. So we thought of, starting separate sessions for interview preparation on Friday evening or Saturday morning. Okay. So every week we will have, one session on interview preparation, interview questions. You'll only discuss interview questions in that session. Okay. So 1 to 1.5 hours. So if required, we'll extend it to 2 hours. And that also will be run as both offline and online. Online participant, this is free training. We are not charging anything for that. And every online participant should turn on the camera. Right? This is to avoid, anyone misusing the sessions. Okay. Only those who are ready to turn on the camera will be allowed for that interview preparation sessions, which are free for our students. Okay. Manikanta also joined today, right? I think I had noted his name. So next week from Monday onwards, some more freshers will be joining offline. We have 2 to 3 more freshers will be joining offline from Monday onwards. All right. So let me start different types of performance testing today. Okay. Previously, I gave an introduction to performance testing. What is performance testing? We discussed at a high level, isn't it? So now today, let me start, what are the different types of performance testing. So if you see, these are the different types of performance testing. If you see this picture or logo or, picture, so it is having all the important types of performance testing. So load testing is the first and foremost important one. Okay. In any project, we will do load testing for sure. Whether we do other types of testing or not, load testing is mandatory in any project. In any performance testing project, load testing is mandatory. This is the first and foremost one. Once load testing is successful, we will do something called endurance testing. Right. So I had used the same pic in my YouTube channel as well. Right. You might have observed that already, and that is there in couple of slides as well. So these are the different types of performance testing. So let me go to the corresponding slide now. Then go to slideshow mode. Yeah. So first, we will start with load testing. In any performance testing project, load testing is mandatory, right? So whether you execute other tests or not, that is irrelevant. But load testing is something that you have. That is the first and foremost one. And what is load testing? What is the meaning of load testing? Load testing is something which we do with expected or normal user load for 1 to 2 hours. Load testing is something which we do with expected or normal user load for 1 to 2 hours duration, right? So it can be 1 hour or 1.5 hours or 2 hours or half an hour also. some people or some projects, they do only half an hour load test, right? But ideally, we should do for at least 1 hour to 2 hours, depending on your user load. Suppose your user load is in hundreds, couple of hundreds, let's say 500 or 1000 or 1500, you can go for 1 hour load test. But if your user load is in thousands, right? You had to go for 2 hours. Why and all, I'll explain that. Why should we, thousands aithe, 2 hours endi, like hundreds aithe 1 hour end అనేది we'll discuss it. We'll discuss it later, right? And now the next type of testing is soak or endurance test. These are long duration tests. What is the meaning of endurance? Endurance means durability or, long duration. General meaning of endurance is long duration, right? So then that is the next type of testing. Now, when you say long duration, how long it is? It depends on the business hours of the application. It depends on business hours of the application. What is meant by business hours of the application? Let us understand what is meant by business hours of the application. Okay. Let me bring up your class notes document. So did I give access to this class notes document? Okay. No, I think I did not share it to anyone. I'll share it today after that. Please remind me. I'll share it after the session. So what is meant by business hours means, see, I'll take some examples, guys. Okay. So suppose, all of us are using some or other net banking application, right? From what time to what time you will be using net banking application? Mostly from 9 to 6. Huh? 9 to 5 or 6, you don't use it after. Usually we'll use net banking application from morning 6 or 7 o'clock nunchi night 10 o'clock. You can use it, right? Or you take Amazon application. Amazon application, we'll not see. Right. During night time, there may be some users, but most of the users will be using during morning time, isn't it? At least Amazon.in, which is for India, right? And you'll be using mostly from 6 a.m. somewhere around 6 or 7 a.m. isn't it? 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Later also some people may be using, right? But that will be relatively very less, right? Right. I'll come to that, Sumira. I'll come to that. So these are the how many business hours. So usually this application will be used by most of the users for how many hours? 7 to 12 and 5 hours and then 10 hours. So 15 hours, right? Okay. Net banking application also similar, right? Almost same. It will be 15 hours, isn't it? Suppose okay, we'll take this net banking application example. So as an end user, you and me, will be using this net banking application for almost 15 hours, isn't it? Same from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. mostly, right? Sometimes you may be using it, see, sometimes I remember that I missed to pay the credit card bill and I may pay it at 11 o'clock. That is very rare actually. That doesn't happen every time. Sometimes we may forget, and we may remember at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock once we shut down our day or wind up for the day. And then I used to restart the system again and I used to make the payment. That is a different story. But usually most of the times we'll be using from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Now, so as an end user, we will be using this net banking web application, right? But if you go to a bank, right, will the bank employee also use, suppose you went to a bank to deposit cash or withdraw cash. Will the bank employee also use the same net banking application like us? Yes or no? Huh? Bank employees kuda ide vaartara? ICICIbank.com kelli, like, do they use that application? No, they don't use web application like us, like an end user, like a customer. Bank employees use, some application. If you have any friends working in banks, private banks, some of your friends may be working or relatives may be working. Check with them. Please, check. We ask them once today. What is the net banking application? What is the banking application that you are using, that you use in your office? Most of the banks in India use, a product from Infosys. Anyone? Some of you may be knowing that. What is that? There is a core banking solution developed by Infosys. What is that? Anyone knows that? Guys, some of you might have heard that. No? Finacle, have you heard this Finacle? So most of Finacle Universal Banking Solution, right? So this is a core banking solution developed by Infosys. This is a core banking solution developed by Infosys. Okay. What is Finacle Universal Banking Solution from, from Infosys? It is a universal banking solution developed by Infosys designed to support banks and financial institutions in their operations and their service delivery. It is a core banking platform. It is a core banking platform for retail banking, corporate banking, wealth management, etc. So Finacle is a popular product from Infosys. And most of the banks in India are using that Finacle. Now, you take, you are supposed to do performance testing for this Finacle application, let's say. Okay. Now, will the bank employees also use this application from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.? No, right? They will start at 10 o'clock or 10. Yes or no? If the banking hours are 10 a.m., right? So if they may start using that application from 10 a.m. and they will be using till 5 p.m. Yes or no? So what are the business hours of this Finacle application now? 7 hours? Or sometimes they may have some closing time. Month end low, they will be working 1 hour more, 1 or 2 hours more. Max 7 to 8 hours. Okay, max 7 to 8 hours. See, sometimes during during month end or financially ending, they may be extending, or let us take those are exceptional cases. But usually, like or if there is any hardworking employee, like they may be working till 6 p.m. Right? So, or some people may take, say if there is have you heard this Pareto principle? Pareto principle. 20% of the people will do 80% of the job. Anywhere, it applies anywhere. 20% of the people will do 80% of the job. Okay. 80% of the work in any project or in any organization, right? There will be some people who escape, who try to escape, or there will be some people who are, help others, isn't it? That is Pareto principle, right? So you might haven't heard that. 80-20 rule is a concept that states that 80% of the outcome comes from 20% of causes, or 20% of the people. 80% of the work will be done by 20% of the people. Okay, leave it aside. So if you haven't heard, leave it aside. So, but for banking application, core banking application, the number of business hours will be 7 to 8 hours, right? Now let us take WhatsApp example. So how many hours do you use WhatsApp? Right. So you see, I usually, like, before going to bed, I will keep some status in my WhatsApp. It was surprising that see, I did not use WhatsApp effectively till 2023. Up to 2023, I did not use WhatsApp effectively, even though I started these trainings in 2018. But I don't know that people are so much like people are using WhatsApp to that extent that even if I update status at 11 o'clock, or I'll get around 500 to 400 views in just 1 hour. Really? You want me to share a screenshot? My WhatsApp status will reach up to 800 to 1,000 people. Contact numbers? I have around 9,000 contacts. Out of those 9,000, 4,000 will be 5,000 will be students only, inquiries. Okay. I will save every inquiry number. Even the students don't save my number. Some of students don't save my number, but I will save every contact. Okay, because see, suppose the reason is there is a reason, strong reason. So when I'm in a class, I may get repeated inquiries. So I don't want to pick up their phone. Repeated inquiries at least. That's why I'll say their contact, so that I can decide whether I can pick up the call or I can talk to them later. You understood? So now coming back to this, how many hours? What are the business hours of WhatsApp? You can't define that, right? Right. So, like there will be less number of users during night. We can't say that also. We can't say that there will be less number of users also. There will be more number of users on WhatsApp actually during night time. Yes, sir. After 10, because that is when people have some free time, lot of free time, right? And we have some previous batch students, who play games during night time. They don't sleep up to morning 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, right? So, particularly there, like his name is Venkat, but he did not get into performance testing or he did not get into IT. He got job in the Air Force. That is the best job for him. Actually, he got job in Air Force. Okay, so because I used to see him, online like uh, 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock also. You ask me, Virendra చూసారా అని అడగొచ్చు. When I woke up, in case I woke up, I will take my phone. I will check my phone once. Right. Anyways, so number of business hours of WhatsApp, we use 24/7, isn't it? Now, is it clear, what is meant by business hours? Or now the duration of the soap test depends on the business hours of the application. Is it clear for everyone? Endurance test is conducted for longer duration based on business hours of the application. It can be 4 hours or mostly it will be 8 hours or 12 hours or 16 hours or 1 day or 3 days also. What is the meaning of why 1 day and 3 days means? If you have an application like WhatsApp, right, or Instagram, for that matter, Instagram also. Yes or no? Instagram also will be used, 24/7. Yes or no, guys? Right. Previously it was Facebook. Now Instagram is most widely used, isn't it? Right. So if you are doing performance testing for Instagram kind of applications, we have to do, soap test for continuously for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, because there is no stop for that, isn't it? Right. And Instagram, by the time we stop using, some other people in some other country may be using it, isn't it? It is a global application, right? So WhatsApp and Instagram are global applications, isn't it? But for Amazon, you have a local application. Amazon.in is for India. Amazon.us is for US country, isn't it? Right? So soap test is something which we do for longer duration and it depends on the business hours of the application. We'll come back to that. We'll discuss different types of tests in detail in tomorrow's session, next session. Okay. First, let me introduce what are the different types of performance testing. And if you observe here, I had used color coding. So load test and soap test are mandatory for any application. That is why I had kept those two in a different color. Okay. These two are mandatory for any application. Clear, guys? Tool can be anything. Tool can be LoadRunner or JMeter or NeoLoad or some other tool, right? That doesn't matter. So, but basically, this load testing and soap testing are mandatory for any project. Okay. And that's why you see that, I had highlighted in a different color. Now, every project, but every project doesn't require all these types of testing. Every project doesn't require all these types of testing. Okay. We'll discuss, on what basis you will decide like what type of testing does an application requires. So the next type of testing is stress testing. So what is the general meaning of stress? Stress means more than normal load, right? More than normal load is called as stress, isn't it? So some applications require stress testing. What kind of applications? Suppose you have a travel application. Now it is marriage season and right? And you have festival, that vacation, also, summer vacation also coming, isn't it? Now there will be more number of users who will be using travel applications like Redbus or Abibus, etc., right? Than usual, isn't it? So the applications which are having or which are expected to have more than normal load, right? For example, a travel application during festival days or a vacation, or you take Amazon, you'll have, like whenever we have a sale, right? Freedom sale or Big Billion sale or, Pongal sale or Dasra sale, there you'll have more number of users, isn't it? Than normal, isn't it? So those applications require stress testing also. We need to see if there are more than normal user load. We need to see what is the application behavior, isn't it? We need to test what is the application behavior when there is more than normal load on the application. So those applications require stress testing. Okay. And the next type of testing is spike testing. What is the general meaning of a spike? So what is the general meaning of a spike? What is it? Right, a sudden increase, isn't it? A sudden increase is called as a spike, isn't it? A sharp increase or a sudden increase in magnitude, isn't it? So to give some examples for this, I believe like Tatkal is one of the best example, right? So from morning 7 o'clock to till 10 o'clock, IRCTC application will have normal load. Maybe 1 lakh users, right? Because will it have 1 lakh users? Yes. Yes. See, IRCTC application, how many tickets will be booked on IRCTC per day? 20 lakh tickets will be booked per day on IRCTC throughout the country. That was like, statistics 2-3 years back. Now it may be 25 lakhs or 30 lakhs also, right? IRCTC, when IRCTC came to public issue, they had given that statement or they gave those numbers. They gave those numbers that daily 20 lakh tickets will be booked in. It may be more now. It may be 30 lakhs also, right? So each person, how many tickets can each person book on IRCTC? Or on an average, each person may book 2 or 3 on an average, isn't it? So there will be 4 to 5 lakh users who will be booking tickets daily on IRCTC website. 4 to 5 lakh users will be using IRCTC ticket per day. But of course, they may be using, morning or afternoon or evening at different timings, right? But the number of concurrent users on IRCTC is 1 lakh. At a time, mostly, it will be having 1 lakh users at any time during the day. That normally, right? But when when Tatkal window opens, there will be more than that, right? Yes or no? But morning 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, we have 2 Tatkal windows, right? So morning 10 o'clock is for AC class, right? Or sleeper. AC, and then 11 o'clock is for sleeper class, isn't it? So at that time, there will be more than normal load, right? Because, Tatkal tickets will be available only for 5 or 10 minutes. Yes or no? Or max 15 minutes. Not more than that, isn't it? So there will be a sudden surge in the user load at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, right? On IRCTC application. Yes or no? So these kind of applications, suppose if you want to do performance testing for IRCTC, you need to do load testing, you need to do soak testing, you need to do stress testing and spike testing as well. Yes or no? Because it is a travel application, there will be more than normal load during festival days. And because it is, it is having Tatkal booking, Tatkal feature, there will be a sudden surge in the user load. So IRCTC application requires all these 4 types of testing. Agree? Yes or no? Or our e-commerce application like Flipkart or Amazon, they also require stress testing, spike testing also. Along with these 2 mandatory tests, they require stress and spike also. Which one? Amazon, Flipkart, etc. Right? So, but every application doesn't require stress testing or spike testing. See, for example, if you take an Finacle application, will there be a sudden surge in the user load? No, right? Every bank employee will have one system and the application will be installed on their system. There is no chance of sudden increase in the user load. Agree? Yes or no? There will be no chance of a sudden increase in the user load. If bank employees, there are 1 lakh employees. 1 lakh employees will be using that Finacle application. And like you will not get 1.5 lakh or 2 lakhs users suddenly, right? Right. So that application doesn't require spike testing or stress testing, isn't it? Okay. Now, so this is all about these are the 4 important types of testing, right? So 2 are very important and these are less important. Of course, some applications require stress and spike also, in addition to load and soak tests. Clear, everyone? Now the next type of testing is the other types of testing are not so important. The other types of testing are not so important. What are those? Volume testing and scalability testing and failover testing and capacity planning testing. Okay, these are not so important or every application doesn't require it, right? Very frequently, but load and soak testing are very important for any application. And in every sprint, we have to execute load and soak testing in every sprint. Clear? And then some applications require stress testing and spike testing also, like e-commerce applications or travel applications. They require stress and spike testing also, right? Or if you take a university website, what is the important test for them? If you take a university website, whenever results are published, there will be a sudden surge in the user load, right? So spike testing is very important for them, isn't it? Or you take board of intermediate website. whenever results are published, there will be a sudden surge in the user load, isn't it? So spike testing is very important. Apart from load and so, spike testing is important, right? Stress testing is also important for them because sometimes they will not have any load, sometimes they will have more than normal load, isn't it? During admissions, university admissions, etc., isn't it? Right. So these are the different types of performance testing, and the next type of testing is volume testing. What is meant by volume testing means? Volume testing is the load test with expected load and huge volume of data or number of records in the database. Okay, there is, okay. Now let me explain what is this number of records in the database. What is the meaning of that? So suppose you are using, Amazon application and you are placing an order, right? You are using Amazon application and you placed an order. Now some records will be inserted into Amazon database, right? One record will be inserted in the, in the orders table. Suppose there is an orders table. One record may be inserted in orders table, and only one record will be inserted, or multiple records will be inserted. There will be multiple records inserted whenever you place one order, because one, there may be some other table for dispatching, right? Dispatching a delivery table. So one record may be inserted into that, where whether dispatching started or not, delivery is completed or not, all those details will be showed in that dispatch table or delivery table, isn't it? So there may be multiple records inserted into database. Or you take a net banking example. You did some fund transfer, right? You did some fund transfer. So there should be one transaction, there should be some debit transaction in your account and credit transaction, or one record should be inserted into the recipient account. Or you'll see two records, right? In your account, if you go to your account, there will be one debit transaction that this amount has been deducted, and it will be added to the recipient account, isn't it? So that way, there will be multiple records. Whenever you do any transaction, there will be multiple records inserted into the database. Now, as we are, using these applications for days together, number of records in the database will increase gradually, right? Number of records in the database will go up to thousands, lakhs, like that. Yes, sir. Thousands or lakhs, right? Now, when there are less number of records in the database, your database may be faster. But when there are more number of records, lakhs of records, it may become slower, right? Your database may become slow, isn't it? So volume testing is, to test how is the application behavior when there are lakhs of records in the database. We do that volume testing. Or volume testing is something which we do with expected load and huge volume of data or number of records in the database. Okay. So that is all about volume testing. We'll discuss in detail. We'll discuss in detail, like, what is the objective of doing each type of testing. We'll discuss that in the next session. Okay, in detail. I'll explain in detail. Okay. And the next type of testing is scalability testing. Next type of testing is scalability testing. What is meant by scalability testing means testing an application for future user load is called as scalability. Let me give some examples. Suppose, Facebook is having 20 million users, it seems now. Or, I think as per last year records, Facebook is having 20 million users. Or, by next year, they have projections that Facebook will have maintain some data like next year, how much will be the user load? Because, suppose if there is a substantial increase in user load, they need to prepare for that user load, right? They need to prepare their infrastructure to support those, that additional user load, isn't it? So if you want to test the application for future user load, that is called as scalability testing. Basically, the word scalability means how much the applications can scale up to, right? Right now, the capacity is of an application is, let's say, 20 lakh users. Now, let's say by next year, Facebook has projections that this user load will increase by 50%. Because, more and more people are having smartphones nowadays, right? Even an auto wala or, daily labor is also having a smartphone. Yes, sir. Right? Or they are also using WhatsApp. Yes, sir. So, like the number of user base will increase year by year. Now, like every application has to do performance testing for future user load also, not only for current user load, right? Because if user base increases drastically, they have to, increase their application capability, right? They have to increase the infrastructure, their infrastructure capability, isn't it? So that type of testing is called as scalability testing. Okay. So scalability testing is testing an application to verify how much it can scale. And this is testing an application for future user load. Okay. And next, there are few more types of testing called failover testing and capacity planning testing. Of course, this failover testing is applicable for mostly for on-premise applications, not for cloud applications. Cloud applications, we have a different terminology or different types of testing. Now, what is meant by failover testing? Let us understand what is meant by failover testing. Okay. So before understanding that example, okay, let us take this, suppose there are now that summer has started, there are frequent power cuts in most of the areas, right? Yes, sir. Suppose you want uninterrupted power supply. You want uninterrupted power supply, right? And if you want uninterrupted power supply, you'll buy an inverter as a backup, isn't it? You'll buy an inverter as a backup, yes or no? As a backup, if you want uninterrupted power supply. Now, suppose you bought an inverter and you got it installed. So you called the electrician and technician and he installed it, right? And inverter connection will be given to not all the electrical points, right? For example, your ACs and geysers cannot work on inverter, isn't it? Or in an inverter will be of limited capacity, isn't it? Now, your once the technician comes and gives the connections, right? So now, like before he leaves or before he asks payment, so what does he do, guys? Before he leaves your house after installation, what does he do? He will check whether what does he do usually? Right. He will check whether it is working properly or not. How does he check that? Huh? So technician will switch off the mains power, right? He'll stop the mains power, yes or no? Stop the mains power, right? Main power, and he'll check whether those important fans and lights are working on inverter or not, isn't it? Once he verifies that, then he will turn on the main power, right? Yes or no? Main power switch will stop the main power, and he will verify, and we will check if the important electrical points are working on that inverter or not, isn't it? And now once the mains power is up, once you get the power back, now they should not run on inverter, right? They should not run on inverter. They should run back on the mains power, isn't it? Right. And this is what we exactly do in failover testing. Okay. So every application will have a backup environment. Every software application will have a main environment and a backup environment. Main environment and backup environment. Now, like what is the purpose of backup environment? Why, first of all, why backup environment? Why should we have a backup environment? Right. So if you remember, last year or before last year, we had floods in Mumbai, severe floods in Mumbai, and normal life was affected by almost 1 or 2 weeks, isn't it? And now let's say, now suppose your SBI is having, for example, SBI, State Bank of India is having their servers in Mumbai. Okay. Suppose, floods affected that area and there is cables got broken or, there is no power basically whenever there are floods. Floods are some natural calamities like, in Vizag we had Hudud Tufan. At that time, like normal life was interrupted for almost 1 or 2 weeks, isn't it? All the electrical cables got broken and they have to fix all those and they have to restore them, isn't it? So now whenever there is some natural calamity like this, or whenever in Japan we have earthquakes, in US we'll have hurricanes and all this, isn't it? So suppose your main environment is down for because of those natural calamities, which are not in our control, right? So every application will have a backup environment in some other region. They'll have a backup environment in some other region. So that if main environment is down for some reason, the backup environment will be serving the users, isn't it? So suppose, in Mumbai we had floods and SBI, all the major banks are having headquarters in Mumbai. You take SBI or ICICI Bank or HDFC Bank, they all have headquarters in Mumbai only, right? Mumbai is the corporate capital of India, right? So you'll have most of the businesses running from Mumbai. Now, but only Mumbai got affected with floods. The rest of the country should be able to use the net banking application. They cannot stop their day-to-day work, isn't it? So they will have a backup environment in some other city like Hyderabad or Chennai or some other city, isn't it? So that if main environment is down for some reason, the backup environment will be up and running, right? So now, when you have main environment and backup environment, we also need to test, just like how we test the inverter. We should test whether if main environment is down, whether the user load is going to backup environment or not. You started accessing an application, your request should go to main environment first. If main environment is down, your request should get automatically redirected to the backup environment, isn't it? And once main environment is up and running, see, but backup environment will be of limited capacity. It will not be having capacity equal to main environment. Yes or no? Your backup environment will not be as powerful as main environment. Yes or no? Because it is very costly to set up, the complete environment. Not required also. How many days it happens? It happens 1 or 2 days in a year, right? Sometimes that also may not happen. Main environment may not be down for 1 or 2 days also. But to continue the business, see, this is called as business. Continuity of business. Continuity of business means if SBI Mumbai server is down, but rest of the country should be able to use the net banking application, or rest of the country should be able to use the bank employees should be able to use that banking application, isn't it? So to continue their business, right? So they will have a backup environment. So if whenever main environment is down, all the user load should go to backup environment. And once the main environment is up and running, automatically that all the user load should come to the main environment. They should not go to the backup environment because backup environment will be slower, right? Very limited capacity. Yes or no? Just like our inverter example, isn't it? So in software applications also we'll have a like main environment and a backup environment. And to verify whether these two are working seamlessly or not, we do this failover testing. So how do we do that? How do we do failover testing in software is we'll start the load test. We start a load test, stop the servers in the main environment. After some time, after half an hour, you'll run test for half an hour on main environment. And then after slowly bring down the servers in the main environment. And now your user load should go to backup environment, right? All the user load should automatically go to the backup environment. And once we'll continue like this for half an hour or 1 hour. And again, after half an hour, we'll bring up the main servers. And now the user load should come to main environment. No user load should go to main backup environment, right? So that is what failover testing is in software also, in software world. That is called failover testing. If one main environment is failed, right? Is it, backup environment is taking up that load or not? That is, failover testing, or that is how we do that failover testing in software applications. Okay, that is another type of performance testing. And then capacity planning. Capacity planning means suppose there is a brand new application, and suppose there is a brand new product, or I'll take this example. Usually, this capacity planning will be done mostly in product-based companies. Mostly in product-based companies, or service-based companies also can do that. Mostly in product-based companies, they will do that. Suppose there is a software product developed by SAP Labs, right? I had this, experience when I was working for SAP Labs. SAP Labs, what is SAP Labs? You know this, right? SAP Labs under. Most of the people call it as SAP Labs, right? But it should be called as SAP, not SAP. Okay. Anyways, so it is a ERP. They develop some popular ERP products, costly products, isn't it? Right? They're so costly that only some companies like Bosch or 3M, only those kind of companies can use their products, their ERP products, right? ERP products, they develop some product and they'll sell it to their clients like 3M, 3M company, or Bosch, right? Or Dell, right? Dell or HP, Lenovo, only these kind of larger companies can use their products, or Maruti, right? So it is a because it is very costly product. All the SAP ERP products are very costly. That is why they pay more packages also, right? So I worked for SAP as a vendor actually from 2018 to 2021, 18 to 21, 3 years. right? And SAP Labs is one of the best company that I had worked for. Okay, you know how many advantages will be there, like with most of the product-based companies, for that matter. That is, that is one of the best, companies that I had worked for. Okay, in what ways is it best? Means they will provide, unmatched benefits to their employees. No one can match their benefits. Free cab and free food, free lunch, free dinner, and evening snacks free. And you'll have every year you'll have some, medical reimbursements. They used to give 25,000 per year as medical reimbursement. Yes, you'll have yearly bonuses whenever they declare results quarterly. They used to give some gifts to the employees. Every quarter, it is a listed company in US, right? They have to declare their results every quarter, and every quarter they used to give some, gifts to the employees. Okay, and for those who completed 5 years or 10 years, they used to give costly gifts like iPads or Apple Watch, those kind of products, iPhones. Okay. So, and mostly this happens in product-based companies. Okay, service-based companies will give, they'll max give one certificate, right? Or memento. Or a memento. Some companies give like, small gifts, like 5,000 worth 5,000 vouchers, or 3,000 vouchers, like that, something like that. Okay. 5 years ki 5,000, 10 years ki 10,000, something like that. But if you join a product, if you are lucky to get into a product-based company, you can expect, like iPhones and, like my company gave on completing 5 years, my first company, App Labs, I got a 5 grams gold coin. Okay, after completing 5 years, I got gratuity as well as 5 grams gold coin. So they used to give like that. Okay, so why are we here? Yeah, so they sell their products to different clients like Bosch or Dell or HP or Lenovo or Maruti, etc., right? So guys, like you keep your hard work. I'll tell you, like I got my first company, I got 5 grams gold coin, and this watch I am wearing now, this is Apple Watch 10. I got from my students. 2 students gifted me on getting placement. Okay. I don't want to disclose their names. Okay, so this watch, I cannot afford to buy a 80,000 or 90,000 watch. This is 90,000 watch. I got that gift from my students who got placement through me, through my referral. Okay. Anyways, so and try to get into some product-based company. You'll also get after completing 5 years, or after if you do some great things in the project, you'll also get such costly gifts. One of our student got, for that matter, he got 50,000 performance bonus in the first 6 months. His name is Bhargav Puluguju. Okay, I think his anyone who knows him? Anyone who knows him? Because why I'm asking is, see this guy. His name is Bhargav, right? I had masked him because at that time when I prepared this PPT, this is 2024 version. At that time he joined into the job recently. That's why I had masked his name. So he got 50,000 performance bonus. This is additional on top of his salary. 50,000 is not a small amount for a new joinee, right? Okay. Anyways, now coming back to this. So this is possible in see, Accelerate is the company. Okay, Accelerate is the company. From there on, I am looking if there is any opportunity I want to join there. And I really followed up that company for almost 1 year, so that see, 3 years experience give 50,000 performance bonus, and they will give in lakhs for my experience. Okay. Anyways, so these companies like SAP, they sell their software products to multiple companies. Now each organization will have different requirements. For example, Bosch may be having 10,000 users who use their application, but Maruti may be having 20,000 users who may be using that application. If you take Dell kind of companies, they may be having user base in lakhs, isn't it? Now for each client, they have to determine what is the required hardware, right? Each client requirement will be different, and each client will have different user base, isn't it? So for that we do some this capacity planning testing. For that so when you sell a product to one client, suppose SAP Labs sold its ERP product to Dell company. Dell says that my users will be 2 lakhs. 2 lakh users will be using my customer support application. Can you test the customer support application with 2 lakh users? Okay. But Maruti may be having only 1 lakh users, or 3M may be having only 3M products are very costly again, right? So they are very costly. 3M products are very costly. You might have used some products, some of their products, 3M products. No, but they will be quality will be very good. Anyways, now so each client requirement is different. When a product-based company sell their products to different customers, each client may be having different user base. Some may be having in lakhs, some may be having in crores, some may be having in thousands only. Right? Now, client will ask, can you suggest or can you plan, what is the hardware required for running this application for ourselves, for our customers, right? That is when we do the capacity planning testing. That is when we have to do that capacity planning testing mostly. Okay. So in that case, we also require this capacity planning testing, this type of testing called performance testing called capacity planning. Okay. That is at a very high level. So, we'll discuss it later, are not that important. We'll be mostly focusing on load test, soak test, and stress and spike test. All right. So these are the different types of performance testing. So we'll stop it here and we'll continue tomorrow. Any queries, guys, before we close today's session?
So how many like basic foundation video lectures has been done? Like today is my first lecture.
Okay.
Wanted to know like how many lessons are there still there?
Yeah, I think you have shared me email ID, right? I'll share this batch tracker, or you can see here. You can take a screenshot here. So basically, we started with on 18th Feb. I had started computer fundamentals, right?
Got it.
And then like 2 sessions on computer fundamentals, like what is operating system, what is system how to check system configuration, IP address, private IP, public IP, and all these concepts were discussed. And I had started SDLC here on last Thursday, and testing lifecycle was covered on Friday. And these are the concepts that we discussed till now. Okay, and these are all theory concepts are basic fundamentals for beginners actually, because we have some freshers also in the batch. Every batch we'll have some freshers and non-IT people. That's why I usually start from here. What is operating system, how to check your system configuration, how to check your IP address, and all this, right? And today we started these types of performance testing. So most of the concepts, I think you already you are aware of this, except this, these last 3 sessions, isn't it? Critical business flows up. See, this is where we started PT concepts. 3 sessions are done on PT concepts, and today's session you anyways attended that, right? So all these, and all these previous sessions are available on my YouTube channel as public videos. Okay. So I'll share this playlist URL, so you can go through them on this weekend if you want to continue. So you can go through this on this weekend.
Sure. Thank you.
Any other queries from anyone else? Okay. So with this, we'll stop it here, guys, for today. And by the way, just for your information, so this is our Insta page. I am uploading, openings daily on my Insta page. Yesterday, we got some openings for automation testing. In Innocito, it seems. Company name is Innocito, it seems. Right? So you can see the, mail ID over there. Or if the mail ID is not there in the image, I am giving it in the description. Okay, in the post actually. So please refer to the post. You see here, I gave the LinkedIn link for applying for that, isn't it? So if it is not there in the image, I am giving it in the notes actually, along with the post. So follow our Insta page, if you want to receive updates and some success stories of our previous batch students, freshers openings. Fresher or experience, here it is. It is not freshers and both freshers and experienced, it seems. Java developer, freshers and experienced. Read that post, please read that post. Okay. So, follow our Insta page if you want to get free updates. And we are conducting a scripting contest next month, guys. We are conducting a scripting contest next month with cash prizes, 3 cash prizes. Okay. So, we'll do it on 8th of March, 8th March, Saturday. We'll do it on Saturday. And if you want to be eligible for cash prize, you need to attend offline. So this is for next batch guys who already joined. So if you want to attend that scripting contest, you need online people also can participate. But if you want to be eligible for cash prize, you should attend offline. Okay. And I am planning to invite, like India head of one of the testing company. So mostly, like I will be inviting India head of Qualizil company this time. Last year we had invited, Rupesh Garg from Frugal Testing. Sorry, not last year. Last time when we conducted this scripting contest, we had invited, these 2 people, Rupesh Garg and Bharti Garg. Those are CEO and CTO of Frugal Testing. Okay. So this time we are planning to invite India head for Madhumurthy sir. So Qualizil was one of my previous company. I worked with him for 1 year. Very closely. So I'm planning to invite Madhumurthy sir. Okay, he is India head for Qualizil organization, which is a fast growing testing organization. They are purely into testing. All types of testing, manual, automation, performance, security, all types of testing. So, I'll definitely invite, CEO or CTO of one of the companies. Okay, testing companies. Okay. So it will, we have allocated a budget of 20,000 for that. Okay. So please participate and make it a big success. Please participate,
But
that.
are we this batch? Are we like will we be
No,
taught
this
scripting
is not for
then?
February batch. Even in February batch also, we have some people who already took training before from some other trainer or some other institute. This is for them that I am explaining. In February batch also, we have some people who already took training before or, who are already working in performance also. Okay. So if anyone can participate, like though if you are already good in scripting or, if you are already having some intermediate knowledge on scripting also, you can participate. Okay. So I'm just trying to show you like, last scripting contest piece. Yeah. So these are the last scripting contest picks. And they came to our Amirpet classroom. We had invited them to our Amirpet classroom, and this pick is here only, like for those who are in classroom, right? So you can see the background and all this, right? So and we all the participants got participation certificate through them, right? And actually, one of them they took one of our student also, but they are not having much of performance testing projects actually. That's why only one guy was selected for that company. But Qualizil, they are having a team of 20 people, performance test engineers. So the next one, like either Qualizil or I'll invite from Signity or some other company. So I'm planning to invite, definitely we'll have some chief guest. We'll have some, chief guest, and you'll get participation certificate from them. And any queries? Some people think that most of us are going through fake experience. If we, how how will they, telspoti kada fake experience and some, we had like Qualizil and Innominds. They recruited. There are 25% of my students are there in Qualizil for your information, and some other companies also. Okay. So, like they will ask whenever they get a project suddenly, they want some immediate joiners. They will come to us. They will come to training institutes. Not only me, they'll go to other training institutes also in Amirpet or Bangalore or, other training institutes, which can give some 20 to 30 profiles. You got it. So if there is a sudden requirement, if they get some immediate, they require some immediate joiners, they will approach us. We'll regularly get such referral openings like that. Okay. For example, right now we have openings from, we have tie-ups with People Tech by a Hyderabad-based company called People Tech. They are having some functional test engineer requirement, but their criteria is they want someone who cleared ISTQB certification. Okay. So if you have any people, if you have any functional test engineers or automation test engineers with ISTQB certification, please forward their profiles. I can schedule interview in the next 1 week for them. Okay. We regularly get these referral openings from some companies whenever they get some requirement, sudden requirement or immediate joiners. Whenever they need some immediate joiners, they come to us. Yeah, here you can see, right? They come to us. They share the requirement, their requirement through our JD through email, and they will hire some students from our training institutes, guys. You can see here, you can read it out. We are happy to be associated with your institute and appreciate the testing engineers you occasionally send our way, right? So these are all mails are referral openings from our contacts. Okay, so please refer, if you have any friends or relatives who are looking for switching to IT or particularly testing, so please refer. We are running like performance automation and security testing training. We are currently offering all these types of testing: manual testing, automation, performance, and security as well. Okay, so with this, I will stop it here, guys, for today. We'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow, in the sense, for this batch, for new batch, we'll have next session on Monday only. All right. So once we start the tool, we'll have Saturday session also. Once we start JMeter or LoadRunner tool, we'll have Saturday session also. Saturday session will be dedicated for script review, basically. Script review and doubt clarifications, etc. All right. So I'm closing the session for today here, guys, for February batch.